You got all that you need. Just give me a way for me to save you from your greed. You got all that you need. Is that a bottle of bubbles? Let me get you out of the trouble, 'cause I can save you from you.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Thanks for inviting me into your bedroom.
It's okay. Like this is all where the vibes are happening.
So Ruby doesn't actually live here. You live in Waverton, not North Sydney.
So this is like my temporary space while Waverton's getting renovated.
But do you make music in this room? That's the question.
Yeah, I do. Just on that Mac over there.
Nice.
Yeah.
What software do you use?
Logic.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Is there a reason that you kind of decided to go with Logic, or?
I feel like everyone just picks one and then you kind of stick with it. And my dad also works at Apple, so like everything's always kind of been Apple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah.
And did you start off on GarageBand? Because I find a lot of young people who like they start on GarageBand, they're like Logic that makes the most sense to go there.
Yeah, no, I think I actually started on Logic, but that's because my computer's always had Logic.
How does that work?
Like, I've always just had Logic on my computer from Dad.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense because your parents are musical, so they've always kind of just had these things available to you. Because a lot of people, like, go through the process of, like, doing all the free versions because they don't, like... I feel like this is how I've always thought about you in terms of, like, you've been so lucky to have, like, an ecosystem of just music. Like, whereas people sometimes, their parents are like, no, like, that's not a real job or career.
Well,
like,
I don't know what it means.
Exactly.
Anything,
Whereas you've kind of had it instilled to, like, do music.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's good. It's got, like, perks and also, like, annoying bits as well.
What's annoying?
Like, because, I don't know, like, if I'm making a song, they're always going to have an opinion. Whereas, like, people who don't have musical parents would just listen to something and be like, that sounds great.
That is true.
So, like, that can be good and bad as well. But, like, if I showed something to Dad, for example, he might be like, what do you reckon about that? And I'm like, well, okay, clearly you don't like it, so tell me about it.
So there's, like, almost more pressure to, like, make really good music because it's, like, they're the first critics that are going to hear it, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, I don't feel pressure, but yeah, they definitely will always have an opinion. And sometimes opinions are annoying, so.
Opinions can be annoying.
Yeah.
Especially, do you find that you're ever, like, stubborn with the music that you make?
In what way? Like, I want it to just...
Like, it's like your way or the highway. It's like someone's like, maybe just change this part of the song, and you're like, no, like, this is the song.
Oh, no. If I can be stubborn, but I learnt from the mixing process of Simplicities to, like, take someone else's opinion in, and it actually makes such a difference. Okay. So that was a good learning curve.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Simplicities, which is your first single that you released ever.
Yeah.
Is it ever?
Yeah, ever.
That's crazy because it's like, in my head, I'm like, you've been releasing music forever, but you've just more done, like, covers here and there, right?
Yeah, and I've been songwriting for a while, but nothing's ever come out, so...
What was the reason for Simplicities to be the first single? Why? What was the choice around that?
It was so random. I think it was the song that I just had the most completed compared to other songs. So, like, I went to New York late 2019, just before COVID hit, and I was recording music over there. And in my head, I was like, yeah, like, surely these are the tunes that, or, like, one of these will come out. But while I was there, I was writing Simplicities, which kind of has reference to the New York thing in there.
I do. When I listen to the song, I feel like I'm walking down, like, New York City. I'm like, I am so cool right now with, like, my swagger. Yeah. And just, like... It's such an original song. Like, when I listen to it, I'm like, I feel like I just haven't heard, like, not even, like, the melody, but the lyrics. Like, where did you think of those lyrics? Like, where did they come from?
Yeah, okay, so, like, even before I went to New York, I already had the chorus in mind.
Okay.
And I don't know where that came from. I wasn't inspired lyrically. I was just on the piano and I was like, this is a cool chorus and it sounds catchy. And then once I got to New York, I was living in this very bougie, like, apartment. They were my mum's grandparents' friends, so we were living quite a posh, like, experience of New York, and that was kind of where the inspo came from. So the song isn't about New York, but I was like, this is a good place to take some inspo from and, like, chuck some quirky lines in there.
Yeah. am I right to say that you're kind of critiquing the posh life in a way? Yeah.
Well, like, the whole thing is, like, like, let's just, like, treasure the good times. Like, you don't have to be so materialistic all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm not, like, having a go at people.
No, I feel like in a way the song's very cheeky. Like, you're kind of just, like, poking a bit of fun. You're not taking it too seriously, like...
Yeah, like, I wasn't ever taking the mindset of, like, oh my God, people are too materialistic. Like, it wasn't ever, like, an intense thing. It was always about, how can I make a song that sounds cute, quirky, fun to sing to? And those lines just came out, and I was like, yeah, this is a good idea.
Yeah, because you never want to, I've kind of said this before, but, like, you never want to, like, patronize the listener. You never want to make the listener feel like, oh, thanks, geez, glad you think I'm stupid and materialistic. Yeah. But it's like, you're having, like, an opinion on something, which is, like, fun to see in a song. Because I feel like sometimes these days, it's all about love and breakups, and it's like, yeah, I love that music, but... It's fun listening to music that's, like, just, like, slightly...
Not about a dude.
Not about a dude,
Yeah, no, that's true. And, like, it can also be, honestly, just about having good times with your mates. Like, just simplicities.
Chilling out, yeah.
The simple times,
Now, when's, like, an album EP, more music coming out? Like, is that in the works?
Yeah, so... I'm on the single train. I've got a single coming soon.
Okay.
And I reckon, like, before Simplicities, I was all about, like, the album kind of idea. And then once I released Simplicities, I realised how good a single is just to get all the attention onto one song. Like, with an album, you want to perfect every song, and so many songs in the album get dismissed, usually.
Yeah.
So, like, I think I'm going to be at an album stage when I've got songs that I'm like, yes, like, I want all of these to be promoted together. They're all good. I feel good about them. Whereas right now I've got songs that I kind of like on their own, and I want to get out before I think about an album.
Yeah, and I feel like when you do an album, it's like, it's a story, like, it's start to finish. And the worst case scenario is a bunch of people going in there and picking and choosing and not listening from start to finish. Because, like, I feel like every musician secretly wants people to listen from start to finish and hear the whole kind of story arc that you've created.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes people can just choose one song. They're like, yeah, this is sick. And then they won't listen to another song on there for, like, a few months.
Exactly. So it's good to perfect it,
Yeah.
What was it like in terms of coming from, like, high school and then studying at the con in terms of, like, the development of your music? Like, what do you think kind of happened?
Oh my God, so much. This is, like, a juicy topic. I feel like, are we talking, like year 11, 12?
You can start from year 7.
Year 7.
The only reason I'm not asking from primary school is because I'm like, no one really cares about primary school.
Yeah. I feel like I was actually talking to Dad about this morning, because I was like, oh my gosh, Alice is coming over, and she was amazing at singing in school.
Oh, stop.
But I don't know, like, it changed significantly, like, from year 11 and even year 10 onwards. Like, I was always singing, but I think the climate of our music class was just so intense, and I didn't find it... I wasn't competitive towards other people, but you could feel the competitiveness in the room. Like, it was really intense because we had a class of, like, 7 singers?
Yeah.
And everyone was naturally like, shit, like, she's really good, And I got so nervous, and nerves literally just... I just wasn't able to perform.
Oh, so you actually struggled with being nervous a lot.
Yeah, surely you remember this.
I don't remember this.
Okay, that's good.
Because to me, you've just always been such, like, a technically skilled singer that I'm like, oh gosh, she knows how to harmonize, she knows how to always sing in tune, whereas, like, I don't see myself as, like, a technical singer, whereas, like, you've got the techniques down pat. And so I was like, oh, she must be so, like, chill about doing it, like, on the spot kind of thing, because, like, you just know how to sing.
Right. Yeah.
But that's just my perception, whereas inside that was a different story.
Well, no, that's 100% true, and I think as soon as it came to just getting up in front of the room, it was like, that was a completely different thing. That was like, just, I don't know, it was just, maybe it was because it was such an intimate class, and everyone was really, like, everyone knew how we sung inside and out, and it just, like, I don't know, it just wasn't, I'm talking like year 10, 11 kind of thing.
Yeah.
It just wasn't really happening. It wasn't.
I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad you're being honest, because, like, I value that, definitely.
I also think just generally performing in front of people, I was always nervous about. Like, that was actually just an ongoing thing because mum and dad have always been musical, and I was always singing at home, and there was recordings of me that they'd show, and even when they were showing people, I would, like, run away. Like, it...
Don't worry, I've been through that too. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah. Like, that was just my life, and so that's probably why it was reflected in that music class as well.
Okay.
But then year 12, when we started doing our own thing and, like, getting the...
Yeah, because you actually decided to do composition work. Did you perform at all?
Yeah, I did my jazz tunes, and so I did 3 performances and 1 comp.
Okay.
And it was all jazz.
For some reason in my head, you did 3 compositions.
That was Sheeran.
That was Sheeran.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, because I was like, but actually...
we were the only ones composing in the class. Everyone else was performing.
Really?
Yeah.
No one else composed? Oh,
No.
okay.
But year 12 was where I kind of was like, wow, I really like jazz.
Okay.
And I decided to get this singing teacher who was a jazz singer, and she probably brought that out in me a bit.
Really? Because since I've known you, I feel like you've just been a jazz singer, but that's not the case, is it?
No, like,
Okay.
I think it was year 11 and 12, I was like, wow, like, I really like jazz. And that was also why I did a small ensemble jazz piece for my composition.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I think throughout that year, everything just got so much better. I was getting more confident. I didn't get as many nerves singing in front of people.
So you think the singing teacher, like, helped that?
I think maybe, yeah, probably, because she not only made me realise, wow, like, jazz is my thing, she was, like, just gave me confidence in some
Yeah, because
way.
there's a chance that the nerves were coming from a place of, like, you didn't feel fully comfortable in the type of music that you were singing.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, maybe when you're singing, like, jazz, it feels right and natural.
Yeah, and also, yeah, I think singing jazz is so much about, like, the tone and all of that stuff. So by doing that, it's helped with basically, like, any genre. So, yeah, year 12 was a wild ride.
That's so interesting. So then how did you feel then going into the con? Like, what did you feel like about your music then?
I was keen about the con because I'm doing composition, so my course isn't performance, and I got a lot of confidence from my HSE comp. So, yeah, going into the con, I was like, bring it on. My course is commercial music centred, so it's like film, TV, games.
You can make big bucks on that.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't, like, I knew I was interested in it because I think one of our tasks in year 11 was, like, make little themes.
I like that. I think I remember you showing me a theme that you made.
Yeah. We had to do, like, themes for 3 different types of emotions, and I remember loving it. I was like, wow, this is... Because they were all the same, but, like...
I definitely remember this. Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like, I want to do that.
Interesting.
So, yeah, as soon as I got into the con, everything just went up from there, really.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Are you nearly finished, or are you finished?
This is my last year.
Nice.
4 years.
God.
Yeah.
Did you find the con intimidating? Because, like, in my head, like, I know you just spoke to how year 10 and 11, you were like,
Yeah.
But, like, to me, the con seems terrifying. Because everyone
yeah.
just seems like these elite musicians that, I don't know.
Yeah, that's so true. I reckon the con's, like, got this kind of pyramid thing going on. And my experience in the con is, like, a lot more of a sheltered experience doing composition. Composition's like a dungeon in the con. Like, the actual number of people doing composition compared to performance is, like, really small.
Oh, really?
Performance is probably, like, 80% of the con.
Oh, wow.
So the competitive side is, like, the classical performers. The jazz performers are the jazz performers are competitive too, but it's a lot more behind your back. That's my take on it.
A little bit sneaky behind each other's backs.
Yeah, I think jazz performers think, like, if you're not a good player, you're not a good bloke, and they wouldn't say that out loud, but it's like a subconscious thing. Like, they're like, if you can play amazingly, they're like, wow, like, you're so sick. Whereas
there is a bit of elitism in the jazz world,
Yeah.
I would say. Like, just there's a slight, like, I mean, I guess because it's part of that traditional music, you know, it's very, like, snobby and...
Yeah, I mean, I reckon classical performers are definitely a lot more snobby. They're a lot more up, like, just from what I've heard at the con, no, but they're also very, like, upfront about it. Like,
Yeah.
And people walk around thinking they're literally the best. Whereas most of my jazz friends are quite, like, they don't have an ego, like, they're pretty chill.
That's good. I mean, I can definitely relate in terms of taking a back seat from performing and stuff. Like, I chose to do a course that was, like, post-production stuff, which I'm happy with, because then I'm like, I don't want to fight with people about being the best performer or, you know, being in the spotlight 24/7, because I feel like, in my experience, it just gets nasty and I hate it, and I'm like, I'm out. Like, I don't want to be part of this.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like you're deterred in a way that, like, you don't actually want to, like, pursue it, like, in terms of performing. Whereas, like, I feel deterred from, like, actually performing professionally, because I'm like, I don't like this toxic crap.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my experience of it isn't toxic, so that's great.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Like, with the composition course, I mean, I'm sure some people are, like, competitive, but it's a lot more, like, we're all really supportive of each other, and if someone composes something in, like, an area that they're good at and I'm not, I'm going to be like, wow, like, that's amazing. Like, I want to be able to do that.
It's not like...
Yeah, but I think little do we know, like, obviously the actual career side of things is really competitive.
Yeah.
Like, you still got to be the best, but I think the way our course is done, it's not like we're thinking, wow, like, we're never comparing each other. It's just kind of like, get this assignment done and just, like, you know.
For sure.
Shed your skills.
Who are, like, your composer influences, inspirations? Who are people you really kind of, like, look up to?
Film and TV wise, I'm a big Michael Giacchino fan, who's the Pixar writer.
Nice. Good choice.
Yeah, Pixar, oh my gosh. Pixar and Disney, literally my alley.
I mean, they make a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so, like, Inside Out, Ratatouille, all those soundtracks, that's, like, I'm a big fan of that. And obviously, like, Hans Zimmer and all the big dramatic, like, string arrangements and all that stuff, really. Yeah, that's probably the influences in that area.
Nice. Do you feel like when you compose, you bring a lot of those influences in, or do you feel like it's very, like, it's, like, obviously you'll always be influenced when you do your individual work, but do you kind of, like, leave it at the door? Do you bring it into, like, your own composition?
I think with the whole film and whatever you're doing, if it's, like, for, like, trailer tracks or reality TV music, you're always kind of taking from what you've heard.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Like, you can make something and it sounds original to you, but you're being inspired by, like, Lord of the Rings or, like, you know, yeah, I don't know. I've never really sat down and felt like this sounds really original when I'm making stuff for TV wise or anything.
Yeah. But it's like, it's still, you know...
Still yours.
Yeah.
And, like, you're still putting your own inflections in there, but you're taking, you know, you're just taking structural things and, like, the big lush string compositions you hear, like, you're taking all that subconsciously.
Yeah. I definitely, growing up, was obsessed with just listening to soundtracks from things. Like,
Literally.
I used to just walk down the street and listen to, like, Doctor Who soundtracks. I was Harry Potter. Pirates of the Caribbean. I was obsessed with that soundtrack.
Yeah, I've got a playlist on Spotify if you want to like it.
Oh, okay. Of just soundtracks?
Yeah.
Oh, I should like it.
Yeah, it's got, like, some Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, Pixar, whatever else, Monsters
Yeah.
Inc.
I am really, now I think about it more, I'm like, I do love soundtracks.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get enough of it.
Yeah,
like,
so good.
What's your opinion on, like compilation soundtracks versus, like, original score? Do you feel like film and TV should go down the route of, like, using songs that people recognize to kind of, like, draw them into the TV show or movie? Or do you think, no, original score, it's more authentic, it's more, like, I guess, again, it's more elite, like, because you're actually composing? What's your opinion on that?
I think I'm definitely more for original scores, but it also depends what you're writing for.
Yeah.
Like, if I was listening to a movie that was just filled with, like, songs that already exist, I'd be a bit like, I don't know, but it also depends what genre. It's so dependent on everything. Like, I would expect I'm so on the Pixar train right now. I'm just gonna keep saying Pixar. I would expect a Pixar movie to have an original soundtrack, like, you know, like a original score.
But have you noticed, like, maybe, like, even just, like, Marvel, DC, they've started being like, let's use compilation tracks. I mean, because they used to kind of just stick to the original score, like, you know, generic orchestral sound, and now they're like, no, let's bring in some compilation tracks. Do you almost fear that like maybe Pixar and Disney will start doing stuff like that?
Yeah, no, I reckon they will. but I'm still optimistic that like original writing will continue.
Yeah, because I do feel like sometimes like I watch a TV show or movie and it's like the score, it's like it's built for it, and you almost are like, I could not imagine it having any other sound. And it's that brilliant thing where a TV show or movie can link a sound to an image, and it's like you can't get that with another song that you associate with 100 different things, where it's like one sound you like it.
Yeah.
That you can't do that with a compilation score, I don't think.
100%, yeah. And I feel like composers use particular like color palettes and instrumentation to create whatever genre it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm all for it.
Love it. What do you think is like, do you feel like in terms of career you're going to go, I'm going to be a jazz performer, or is it I'm going to be a composer and get my music syndicated and make lots of money? Like where's like your career, or is it both? Like what's your path?
The big question.
Big question. You probably hate being asked.
Yeah. No, I think I've accepted that I'm going to do the whole lot. Like...
You're just going to put it all on one plate and be like, I can do this.
Yeah, because, like, a lot of musicians have portfolio careers. So they'll be doing gigs, they'll be teaching, they'll be whatever they're doing. So, and right now, like, I'm doing my composition uni course, but I'm also doing regular jazz gigs, and I'm songwriting and teaching. So, honestly, I'm just going to keep doing that, like, and see where it goes. Like, I would love to eventually, like, get a stable job writing for, you know, some sort of TV thing or whatever it may be, and picking up arrangement gigs. Like the other week, I got asked to write for an Elton John tribute show for the State Theatre. So I was arranging some...
Sorry? That's amazing.
Yeah, some of our con teachers asked a few of us in our course, because they were like, damn, we need to have like a whole show done, and we can't do it ourselves.
Wait, so when will that be?
Oh, it already happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
When did it happen?
Like 2 weeks ago.
That's amazing,
Yeah,
though.
so we got to arrange, all of us did as many as we could, so I did a few Elton John tracks, so we were writing for like a chamber orchestra, and we got paid for it, so like if I can keep doing things like that,
you'll definitely get stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
If you're already getting opportunities like that, I cannot like imagine anything else. And I feel like you're being really smart in a way, because musicians sometimes forget that you can make money in the commercial end, and then that can then support your performing kind of vibe, but that usually doesn't make money. First off, you know, sometimes like you have to do free gigs or, you know, open mics or whatever, and you're not making as much money, but you can make money in the commercial end. But I feel like musicians are scared that like if they take commercial jobs, it's not like an art piece anymore, it's not authentic anymore, or it's like, you know, you're buying into capitalism or whatever the hell it is. Because it's like people, like, if an advertising company approached you and you were, like, indifferent about the product, but you're like, I could make a lot of money if I write these people a jingle, would you do it?
Yeah.
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 But you got to understand, there are people who wouldn't take it because they're like, no, my music is art. Like,
Yeah,
I can't
that's so
do a
true.
commercial, no.
Well, I mean, yeah, it depends. I don't know. I've never really thought about it like that. I'm super into jingles, so if I'm getting asked to do something, even if it's to a brief or anything, and I'm getting a good pay for it, I'm definitely going to do it.
Good. You're smart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And with performing, like, yeah, I guess it depends what you're doing. Like, original shows are so complicated. Like, there's just been too many times and experiences where it's like ticket sales, and there's so much pressure on you to get the whole thing sold out. And yeah, it depends, like your band want a specific rate and you're not sure if you can give that to them because you're not sure if it's going to be sold out. Whereas, but they're awesome in the sense of like you're performing your own music.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the jazz gigs I'm doing, or when you're doing covers or jazz or whatever it is, you're getting really good money. So it's just a bit of both, really. And
yeah. No, I feel like you've been really... I feel like I've been seeing how hard you've been working and, like, it's paying off. And, like, it looks like you're doing gigs quite regular, would you say?
Yeah, yeah. I'm doing, like, a jazz kind of, what is it, like a sextet, a quintet, down at Cafe Giorgio in Potts Point every Tuesday and Sunday.
Good stuff.
And that is, like, where it's at with the money, the food, the alcohol. They're really looking after us.
Okay, so
down
what
there.
day is that on? Tuesday?
Every Tuesday and Sunday night.
At Potts Point?
Yeah.
Nice. I'll have to swing by.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's great. And then around that, it's just, like, picking up random gigs, getting asked to do, like, openings for people or doing your own original shows. Like, when I release my next single, I'll definitely do a launch. Because I didn't do a launch with Simplicity.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you do a launch thing for Simplicities?
No. I think... Because it came out, like, in that awkward time. Actually, it came out at a very interesting time.
Yeah, because didn't it come out, like, COVID? Was it COVID?
It was post-COVID, and then it was when the Northern Beaches went into lockdown.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was all happening.
Yeah.
And a launch really wasn't on my mind. I was like, I'm kind of happy for this song to just come out. And I didn't perform it live until my Factory Theatre gig, which was like a month ago now, maybe.
Okay.
And that wasn't really my own Ruby Jackson show. That was kind of just like a Sunday set list with other artists. Okay. So I didn't, in my mind, like I should have promoted it more. But in my mind, I was like, this is just, I don't know, this is just a random gig. I'll eventually do my own thing, like, later down the track. So that time's coming soon.
Okay, well, I'll be definitely excited if you do a launch thing, because I'll be there,
100%.
for sure. I'm excited.
All I'm hearing is words, there's no sort of action, a little absurd and another transaction. Did you really need to buy that? Do you really need to try that? Ooh, don't you try and deny that. You know I don't stand by that. I don't stand by that. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. I know you're riding up down New York City. Oh snap, you there looking all glam and pretty. Maybe I gotta speak up and say. I like the scent of the Christmas trees as I'm walking downtown East 53. Won't you come with me so I can show you how it's done my way?
So in terms of like using social media and stuff, how do you feel about that? Because I see you on social media, but I also feel like you don't post, like, bombard people with, like, content.
Yeah.
Like, do you find that there's, like, a good balance? Like, do you feel like, oh, like, I need to, I don't know, go through my Instagram and, like, make it this whole, like, branded thing? Or are you just kind of like, I'm just going to post when I feel like it. I'll let people know when I have a gig, be pretty chill about it. Is that kind of where you come from with the social media stuff?
Yeah. I think my approach is like, I'll post something when I have something to post. Because I don't really, it just depends. Like, if I get some photos at a gig, I'll chuck it on there and, like, it'll make the gram look pretty nice. But in terms of, like, posting heaps, no, I don't know. Everyone's kind of got their own thing going on in social media. Yeah. Like, I find a lot of artists sharing other people's music coming out, which I do a bit of if I'm, like, super keen on that artist, whoever it is. But yeah, I'm pretty in between, just chilling on the border.
But I feel like that's a good approach. Like, you don't seem too, like, freaked out by it. Like, I feel like some people are like...
That's true.
Like, it's their life, and if they don't get a certain amount of, like, analytics or, you know, whatever, they're just like, oh my gosh, like, my career's over, like...
Yeah, no, Instagram is hard. I think I've always been really chill about it. I think everyone's guilty of, like, posting a cover or whatever it is and, like, being afraid of, like, not getting a good response.
Yeah.
That's just natural. Like, it's just with everything, like, how many likes you're going to get. Like, I don't think about it. But putting a video up of yourself singing is quite, like, you want people
terrifying.
You want people to like it. But I don't know, the past couple of years I've been so chill about it. Like, I think, like, a while ago I would have been a bit more stressed about the feedback thing. But
do you feel like it's because you're more secure in what you're doing? Because you're like, I've got my gigs, I'm going to do, like, some, like, compositional work for people. It's like... You're like, I don't need this validation from, like, my peers because I know I'm doing stuff. Like, is that maybe...
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, honestly, I don't even really think about, like, social media.
I'm glad.
It's just, I love it. Like, I'm always on it and I'm always checking it, but I'm never stressed out about
your
anything
own
to do with
stuff.
it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just chilling.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then I guess I wanted to, like, kind of go back to, like, where you see yourself in the future. Like, I guess, do you see yourself, like, as one of those, like, pop star, like, crazed, like, just stupid amounts of fame? Like, do you more see yourself, like, I just want to be, like, those underground people who just, like, have a really long career playing in the clubs, bars, like, and not being stressed about, like, I need to play in, like, stadiums? Or are you aiming for stadiums? Like, what do you feel?
That's crazy. I don't know, like, I can't envision myself ever singing, like, Simplicities in a stadium.
I can.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But it suits a bar vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I honestly don't know. Like, it's really just dependent on how the reaction of your music. Like, you can't get anywhere unless people are liking your music.
Yeah.
And it's getting lots of listens and it's getting shared and a good response. So, but if I was able to, like, choose if I could just randomly be a pop star, I'd probably 100% say yes, because why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, but I think realistically it won't be like that. It'll probably be me just continuing what I'm doing, and maybe the music will excel as I release more stuff.
Do you feel satisfied by that? Because I feel like there are people who are like, they need to reach a certain level or else they'll just be, like, unhappy forever. Or you like, no, like, as long as I'm doing music, I'll be happy. Do you feel like that?
I think I'm in between. Actually, I think while I've been at uni, I've never been really thinking about where my original music's going to take me.
Okay.
Because I've just got a lot of different things I'm focusing on. So the songwriting outlet is, like, fun, and it's also, I want it to take me somewhere, but I'm not really as focused on it.
Yeah.
Whereas once I get out of uni, I'll probably be spending all my time on my own music, which is exciting. But yeah, I reckon then I will probably wanting to be aiming for bigger and bigger. But I don't know. It's so weird to, like, even think about.
I know. It must feel really, like, because if someone was asking me those questions, I'd be like, ugh, get away from me. But it's just because I've always been, I mean, out of the people that I know who, like, are willing to, like, pursue music and, like, take that risk, it's like, with you, I'm like, what does she really want? Because, like, I feel like you have so many, like, techniques and skills over, you know, music, whether it's composition or performing and, like, jazz and pop, and it's like, what's, like, the end goal? But I feel like you kind of, like, you just want to do a bit of everything, and if you reach that level of success, it's like, sweet.
Yeah, basically all of what you said.
Love that.
Yeah, I think the end goal is everything, bits by bits. But I think, yeah, I'm definitely keen and wanting my own singles and whatever to, like, to get me somewhere. I feel like every artist kind of wants that. Like,
Yeah.
You're always working towards something bigger. You're never, unless you're doing, like, songs and releasing them, like, not to get somewhere. You're just doing them, you know.
Fun.
Yeah, while you've got a completely different thing going on the side. That's a different thing. But yeah, I'm wanting it to
Go somewhere.
Yeah.
For sure. No, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for inviting me into your bed.
No worries.
It's very, very random that I'm doing this, but
Not random. Day to day.
yeah. Just sit
Save you from your greed. All that you need. Just give me a way. Won't you give me? Won't you give me? Way.